You know, it's funny. You see stuff like this, and it's always from these places that sort of, in my opinion, they want to lay off the console wars, or they tell other people to lay off the console wars when Xbox is doing something good. And I just always found this to be so funny, to me anyway. It definitely seems funny, and it definitely seems like one of those things that people kind of say in the heat of the moment or whatever when things are going their way, and then the second that things aren't going their way, they sort of have a change of heart or whatever. So, to me, that's how I always look at this. I kind of look at it as sort of a funny thing, but also, it's one of those things where if you're saying this stuff now, then don't change your tune when things have changed course and things are going better. Like, things are already going for Xbox. Like, Xbox is not just a console thing. So I thought this was super funny when I saw this, because people go, oh, there's no such thing as the Xbox tax. There's no sites going out of their way to make Xbox look bad or promote console wars or anything like that. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So the PlayStation Portal, you guys know, it's that little crappy $200 handheld device that Sony put out. It looks like somebody super glued a tablet in between a broken DualSense controller, right? And it's $200. This thing, the only thing it can do is play remotely, like whatever is game happens to be in your PlayStation has to be on, etc., etc. Not a lot of use for this, in my opinion, but obviously, it sells okay at launch, and according to this, PlayStation Portal outsells Xbox Series X and S during launch week in Spain. Now, first of all, I want to preface this by saying Xbox doesn't do well in Spain. It's almost does as poorly as as Xbox does in like Japan or something. So that's why I think this is funny. It's like you go out of your way to find this little place that Xbox does bad in anyway, and it wasn't like this peripheral sold 1 million units there, which makes it all the funnier. So according to this, it says Xbox isn't exactly lighting up the sales charts at the moment, especially in Europe. It's been a bit of a washout this year in countries like France and Germany, where Sony has seen PS5 sales explode by up to 143%, while in October, the Redmond firm witnessed a year-over-year decline of 52%. We know in some countries on the continent, the Japanese giant is closing in on a 90% market share against its rival. And in Spain, the Series X and S was outsold by a PS5's handheld accessory, the PlayStation Portal, during the week ending November 19th. It's perhaps worth noting that this is a portable's launch, so it's unlikely that it'll be a feat that will be repeated. But hey, why not make a article about it anyway, right? And then pretend like the Xbox tax doesn't exist. No media sites try to make Xbox look bad for clicks, right? There's no corruption in gaming. I mean, a couple $100 billion industry, but I'm sure nobody has, a horse in this race. Anyway, with the streaming system registered sales of 5,700 units, think about this for a second, right? So this thing launches and sells 5,700 units in Spain, right? And Xbox sold 2,000 consoles. Again, that's not, to me anyway, something really to get excited about. It says, to put things into perspective, during the same time, the PlayStation 5 sold 32,000 units, and the Switch managed 6,000 units, obviously. So, again, with the release of the PlayStation 5 Slim and the Spider-Man 2, it's looking like PlayStation 5 is doing really well and all that kind of stuff. Nobody's doubting PlayStation 5 is doing well, right? Like, I've never doubted that. I've never said that it wasn't doing well. I think, obviously, when people look at consoles, I think Microsoft made a couple mistakes going into this generation, obviously. One of those mistakes is not having a compelling launch lineup. I think, obviously, also the 2022 fiasco with no first-party games was a huge mistake. So right away you have a launch with no games, and then 2 years in you have no games. People make their choices a lot of the time right away, and Sony had an impressive launch lineup, even if they've cooled off things right now, which they certainly have. Obviously, they had more stuff at a time when these things were first out and people were deciding. Unfortunately, Xbox also lost a generation where, a lot of people were buying digital. So, it's like, unless people are deciding to buy multiple consoles, and then also, obviously Xbox games are available day one on PC. Unless you're a console gamer and you really see stuff on Xbox that you want, you're probably not going to pick one up. So that's kind of where this sort of situation comes from. But the mistakes, besides not having the launch lineup, and then a year later not having any first party titles, even though they're doing much better now and they're in a much better position, it's like some of the damage is already done. I feel like, I don't want to say that this generation is a wash or anything like that. I just think that what you have to do is you have to kind of look at what you could do next, right? Like, I mean, when the original Xbox didn't make much of a dent against the PS2, what did you do? You went back to the drawing board. You came out with an idea and a plan that really worked for the Xbox 360. I think Microsoft has to do the same thing here. Potentially launch a year early, launch with compelling hardware, launch with the newest Call of Duty going right into Game Pass at launch. Also launch with maybe like the new Elder Scrolls or whatever. Launch with stuff that's really compelling, that really makes people want to get an Xbox, right? That's what you have to do, and then you have to have that kind of momentum going into more momentum. Whereas right now, it's like, I think people are starting to see that Xbox is coming around, but is it really coming around to where, some of these people are going to want to buy an Xbox? I don't know. Like, maybe they'll buy a Series S as a, as a secondary console. So it's one of those things that we see, and, it's one of those things that I think we'll have to continue to kind of pay attention to. But again, it's nice to see that Microsoft is being proactive with this stuff, but I also think that it's kind of crazy that this is the type of thing that we see. Honestly, it doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense. And Microsoft themselves have mentioned this numerous times, that they really, really do not care if people are playing the games on their console, if they're playing the games on a PC, if they're playing their games through the cloud. Like, people, it doesn't really matter to them. So I think that's something that people have to keep in mind, kind of going forward, because at the end of the day, gamers are going to kind of flock to what they enjoy best, the type of games that they enjoy best. And it seems to me anyway, like many gamers are liking what Xbox has to offer, and I think with good reason. Like, do I think they're perfect? No. But I do think that they have a lot to offer, and they continue to really showcase that in a way that makes gamers appreciative of what they have. Like, I don't ever think they'll be in a situation where they overtake PlayStation in sales, but that doesn't mean that they can't sell more and do more in terms of the consoles and things like that. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. I appreciate it. You guys have been awesome. Please like the video. I'm Crap Gamer. This has been Crap Gamer Reviews. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.